So this video is kind of a follow-up to a comment that I had on this last video that I did on this foundation construction. And I've had thoughts throughout the couple years that I've owned this house that all my fantasies of this rebuild and all the things that I wanted to do were not going to be very possible with this house, just because this house is going to settle and it's going to go it's going to rise and settle with every freeze thaw cycle. So I was watching this guy who renovates houses like this and or modifies them or whatever. He was saying that old houses like this with the foundation and everything, you kind of just have to work with what you've got. I've had these ideas of using really strong poles to reinforce the foundation, to have a loft area up there, take out this ceiling and have a loft. But I won't be able to do that because I would have to put that pole in the ground through the house somewhere and then straight up to support that loft, and or on the side of the foundation or something. So hopefully this is making sense, but if I were to do that, then the rest of the house on the foundation, sides and everything would be going through that freeze thaw cycle. And then my new pole that I put in with a stronger footing or whatever it is would be more stationary than the rest of the house. And so that loft that it would be supporting wouldn't be the same as the rest of the house. And hopefully that's making sense. But basically, I have to kind of work with the house as it's kind of, in a sense, floating over time. And that previous video I just did, the indications of that, the freeze thaw settling, was kind of manifesting itself with these cracks on the side that I was showing in the other video. So that's what is pretty much going to happen over time as it goes up and down. That's a good indication of that doing that very thing. So as I thought about this, I even had a plan for a nice tile bathroom, and I was going to do my own little design. I had all the tile ready for it. And I also thought about that over time and realized that if the house is doing that, if it's constantly doing that floating effect, then that tile floor or the walls or whatever are going to crack as well, just like the wall I just showed you. So I had to scrap the whole tile idea as far as the ceramic tile. And I have to think more along the lines of kind of a flexible flooring. And I had a whole bunch of wood that I had for this floor here, this room, and the next room over here. I had a whole bunch of really good, it was free wood, and it was just beautiful wood. It was worth, I don't know, $500. I got it for free. A guy in my church, he just had leftovers. So that was a perfect opportunity to use it for this. But since this flexing is going on, I mean, you could see that everywhere, is that it's kind of going up in little places and up and down. It's hard to see on camera, but it is doing that everywhere. And it does do that right here. It kind of has this bowing. And so that is similar to the tile idea. I had I couldn't do that flooring. I couldn't do that wood flooring like I wanted to, because it would have sank and or kept bowing, sinking, whatever over time, and I would have it would have been a nightmare. So I have to think along the lines of just this kind of like the rubberized tile stuff, like this stuff. So those are the things I've learned with the course of time and watching this happen. So if I were to continue renovating this house, I've got to keep those things in mind. And thank goodness that I didn't have the money to do it right away. Honestly, that's the blessing in the whole thing, is that uh, over time I've been able to study and really figure out how this house works and how to adjust my plans for, working with this house. So it saved me a lot of mistakes and money doing that. So with all this in mind, this house, the $5,000 house, is going to continue to be a long-term project, and I won't be able to do it within 1 or 2 years. This is unless I just come up with some money to do all this stuff. But I'm glad I've been able to take my time doing this, and that's probably the blessing in every situation where you don't have money to throw at whatever projects you want to do. If you see a lot of rich people, sometimes they just go forward with the first idea they had because they have the money and the resources to do it. And then suddenly they realize they made a big mistake, but it's too late. They've already spent all the time and money doing it. So, and I've had this in, other ambitious inventions or big projects that I wanted to do. And as I thought about it over time, I was able to change and modify the idea to something else that's a better idea or a more refined, more developed idea. So this is the blessing that comes from not being able to finish something like I was hoping to 2 years ago. I kind of went into this kind of naively, thinking I can get this done real quick. But as I learned how that this house wasn't done right, and as I learned that there was a lot of patch up work over the years, and just continuing to do research and more research, I avoided a lot of bad decisions. So I haven't put very much money into this. It was only a labor of tearing down and cleaning it up. So now that it's at its bare bones, I have time to reflect and think about exactly where to put my money and resources when I do get it. So with that in mind, let's switch over to the next idea. By the way, I have this bathroom functioning now. I have another video what I did to get this functioning again. Hooked up the toilet water and my bidet bum gun, and I'll be continuing to modify this. I'm going to put the sink on this side. I'm going to put my washer and dryer on this side. So this will be a nice functioning room. I changed the pipes so the water pipe goes directly to this rim, and then I'll put a water heater here. So I have a video on that coming. But let's continue on to this garage. I mentioned this in one video before, this idea. The idea I have is, this garage may not look like much, but this is the best structure on this property, you know, besides my little tiny house shed. This is, when I thought about this on my scooter trip, I was talking to Brenton about it, and I realized that this is going to be the best structure to work with right now. And I'll tell you the reasons why. It's a little messy from my scooter adventure. I just haven't been able to clean that stuff up because it was very not motivating during the cold. But if you could kind of just imagine this being a, you know, kind of like a living space, living room, man cave, whatever. And if you look at the walls, and if you look at all the structure around this, you know, the bare bones, you know, down to the bare walls and the ceiling and everything is intact and it's in very good condition. And I would have to repair a couple spots, but that's it. Maybe that spot. But most of this is very good stuff. And I wouldn't have to do much to this place to get it livable and to get a, you know, wood burning stove in the middle of this or something. And the best part is that this concrete slab foundation is way better than my main house. And I cannot like get something better than this. I mean, it's probably been here as long as the house has, and maybe a little bit later than the house, but this concrete slab is going to be here for a long time. And I'm not going to worry about flooding or anything like that. I do have a little bit of cracks here, but I'll be able to level it out really easily. So after I finish with, you know, a roof and the siding and stuff, and then insulation and then walls, this garage has a potential of being absolutely amazing living space. And what that does for me in this tiny house situation is that I could use my tiny house as my main living area, and then I could make a door here or something, and then this will be my main hangout, living, bigger space area. And so if you could see the potential in that, you could see why this would be an absolutely amazing idea. And I'm excited about it, and it's not gonna, it would be easy to do relatively to my main house and a lot cheaper. So, and it's got an amazing foundation. So you just think about those things, and that's why I started thinking of this idea. And I could easily replace these doors with something else and just redo a lot of things on the outside. It's a little windy out here. Sorry if it's blowing in the microphone, but I'll have to modify some window stuff. There you go. That's the direction I've been heading in my thoughts. This garage is going to be an amazing, easy, cheaper renovation, expanding my living space and living conditions. I could do that within the summer, while this main house remains to be my longer project. And I could take my time thinking about this, what I want to do. And I'm trying to think of what else to say about this, but I think that's about it. So there it is. Well, stay tuned for some more videos. I have some more technology-based videos coming, and if you don't know much about my channel, it's pretty much, living with limited resources and freeing yourself in all aspects of our lives, and just kind of walking through your life and what your resources are and what you can do on a extreme budget, and looking forward into the future as well, looking forward to new technology, stuff that we've never heard of before, stuff that we can do ourselves, so we don't have to rely on some big old company to come up with something that they've already got their strings attached to. Things that'll truly make us free. And I think that's the battle, the frontline battle into becoming free is free energy. It does exist. Do not believe anybody that says otherwise. God lives with free energy all the time, and we can too.